Hello, my dear students. I welcome you once again to this current lecture. In the last lecture, we discussed about what is meant by optical activity of the compounds, how the given compound shows the different optical activity, what are the different parameters for the optical activity of the compounds, what is meant by chiral center or what is meant by the asymmetric carbon atom. So that we completed in a last lecture. So in a current lecture now, we are going to take the next important concepts which are important to study the optical activity of the compounds. So in the last lecture, we stopped at one important point that is called as the chiral center or asymmetric carbon atom. So we know very well that those compounds which consist of the chiral center or asymmetric carbon atom, that compounds are to be called as this optically active compounds, and that compound shows the different type of the optical isomers. So before that, what is by this chiral center? So it is very simple. If we consider this type of the one compound, that is a glyceraldehyde. In this glyceraldehyde, what happens to this centrally situated carbon atom? Four different atoms or groups are attached. One is a CHO, second is your OH, third is here CH2OH, and fourth is here hydrogen. So you can say that this carbon atom present in a glyceraldehyde can be have the four different type of the substituents, and that's why this carbon atom present in this glyceraldehyde, this is called as the chiral center, or this is called as the asymmetric carbon atom. So you can say that as this compound is consist of the chiral center or asymmetric carbon atom, so this compound is called as the optical active compound due to the presence of the chiral center. Now once this compound is to be called as optically active compounds, then what happens, these optically active compounds have the different type of the isomers, means the same compound can be present in its mirror image, or it has the mirror image. So as far as the any optically active compound is to be considered, it has the another form, and that another form is called as the mirror image of the particular compound. So whenever we want to know how many different type of the possible isomers of a given compound is to be present, so for this purpose we have to use one simple relation, that is A is equal to A is equal to 2 raised to n. So we have to use this simple equation. A is equal to 2 raised to n. In this case, this A stands for the number of possible optical isomers for the given compound. This n stands for what is the number of chiral centers or asymmetric carbon atom present in a particular compound. So if we apply this equation to this simple compound glyceraldehyde, then what happens? How many possible optical isomers are to be there? So as n, how many n is there? Chiral center is equal to only 1. So if we substitute these values in this equation, so A comes out to be equal to 2, and that's why we can say that this glyceraldehyde can be exist in a two different type of the optically active forms. One is a this compound, this is a regular compound, and second is called as its mirror image. So when a two type of the isomeric forms is there, one compound is object and second is called as is mirror image. So this is a very simple equation in order to calculate how many different type of the optically active forms are to be there for a given compound. Now after considering this type of the simple chiral center or asymmetric carbon atom concept, next we have to consider three more important concepts in current lecture. One is called as your enantiomers, second is called as your diastereomers, and third is your mesocompounds. So how these compounds are to be classified on the basis of these type of the different concepts. So first of all, as far as these enantiomers is to be considered, so if we look toward this type of the simple examples, if we consider these two examples, so what is the name of this compound? This compound is called as the 2-methyl 1-butanol. If we give the numbering to this compound, starting from this carbon atom first, this carbon atom second, this carbon number third, and this is carbon number 4. So this compound is called as the 2-methyl 1-butanol. Now as far as this compound is considered, in this compound the centrally situated carbon is there. This carbon is attached to the 4 different atoms or groups, that is to this carbon one methyl group is there, one ethyl group is there, one CH2OH group is there, and one hydrogen is there. That's why this carbon is called as a chiral center or asymmetric carbon atom. So you can say that this 2-methyl 1-butanol is called as the optically active compounds. Now whenever we take the mirror image of this type of the compound, so this second image is called as a mirror image of this compound. If we look towards these two type of the different forms of the same compound, one is object and second is called as its mirror image. Now if we look towards these two type of the forms of this particular compound, then if we look towards carefully to this compound, these two images or these two forms of the particular 2 methyl 1 butanol are called as the non-superimposable mirror images of each other. These are the non-superimposable. If we place this form of the 2-methyl 1-butanol on this second form, these are to be called as the non-superimposable mirror images. So whenever such a type of the stereoisomers are there and which have the non-superimposable mirror images of each other, then that type of the stereoisomers are called as the enantiomers. Is called as the enantiomers. So if we consider these two forms of the 2-methyl 1-butanol, these two forms of 2-methyl 1-butanol are called as the non-superimposable mirror images of each other, and that's why these two stereoisomers are called as the enantiomers of each other. So these are the two forms and which are the enantiomers of each other. So as far as this second concept, that is enantiomer, is to be considered, this is a concept applying to those particular stereoisomers which have the non-superimposable relationship between the object to that of the mirror image. So this is the first important concepts, enantiomers. Now if we consider the second example in this sequence, suppose if you consider this type of the compound now, what happens in this compound? This compound is called as a tartaric acid. This compound is called as a tartaric acid. So in this compound, if we look toward this compound, it has a two chiral center. This is a first chiral center. This is a second chiral center. So as this compound has the two chiral centers, we can say that this compound is to be called as the optically active. But what happens if we look toward the structure of this compound? This compound has a plane of symmetry. This compound has the plane of symmetry. If we pass a horizontal plane, to this type of the tartaric acid compound, then what happens? It has the two equal halves. It has the two equal halves that are superimposable on each other. That's why we can say that due to the presence of plane of symmetry, it has the two equal halves, and that's why this compound, even though it has the two chiral center, but it is a optically inactive compounds. And why it is optically inactive? Because a plane of symmetry is there, as well as if we take the mirror image of this compound, it has the superimposable mirror image, and that's why this tartaric acid compound is optically inactive compound, and such a type of the compounds are called as the meso compounds. Such compounds are to be called as the meso compounds. So this compound is a meso compound. This is a meso compounds. So this is the next important concepts, meso compounds. So what is by this meso compounds? The best example is a tartaric acid or mesotartaric acid. In this tartaric acid, even though two chiral centers are to be there, even though this compound is called as optically inactive compounds, this is due to the presence of the plane of symmetry, as well as the mirror image of this compound is a superimposable, and that's why this compound is called as the optically inactive compounds, and such a compounds are to be called as the meso compounds. So this is the second important concepts from these three. We completed up to this. What is by enantiomerism? What is by the meso compounds? Now the next third important concepts which are going to study now, that is called as the diastereomers. So for this purpose, to study these diastereomers, we have to consider here the different stereoisomers of a compound which having the two different chiral centers. These four different stereoisomers having the two different chiral centers. So in this case, how many carbon atoms is there? 1, this is a 2, this is a 3, and this is a 4. 4 carbon atoms to be present. If we look towards carbon number second and carbon number third, these carbon number second and carbon number third are attached with 4 different atoms or groups, and that's why we can say that in each and every stereoisomer, this carbon number 2 and 3 are called as the this is called as chiral center. So this is a first and this is the second chiral center. So in each and every stereoisomer, 2 chiral centers are to be present. And we know that if a given compound has the 2 chiral centers, then how many stereoisomers are to be possible? So that is to be calculated with the help of the simple equation which we just studied here. A is equal to 2 raised to n. So with this simple equation, we can find out the different stereoisomers possible for this compound, as the chiral centers is equal to 2. So if we substitute these 2 in this equation, A is equal to 2 raised to 2, and that's why the total possible stereoisomers are is equal to 4, and these are the 1, 2, 3 and 4 different stereoisomers are to be possible. Now we have to study now what is the meaning of this diastereomers. So as far as these diastereomers are to be considered, these diastereomers are to be present in a compound which having the two stereo center, which having the two stereo center or two chiral center or two asymmetric carbon atom. For this type of the compounds, we can define or we can study the concept diastereomers. Now, as far as this compound, 4 different forms of a compound is to be considered. If we look towards the compound number first to that of the compound number second, or first stereoisomer and this is second stereoisomer, if we look towards the difference between this first and in terms of these two, what happens? These two forms or these two stereoisomers are to be called as non-superimposable mirror image. This compound first and second is called as the non-superimposable mirror image. And why this is so? Because if we look towards chiral number second and chiral center number 3 in this first compound to that of the chiral center number 2 and chiral center number 3 in this second compound, these two are called as the non-superimposable, and that's why this stereoisomer first and second are called as the enantiomers of each other. These are the enantiomers. Now, if we look towards this compound, this stereoisomer number 3 and stereoisomer number 4, what happens? Again, these two stereoisomers 3 and 4 are non-superimposable mirror image of each other. So again, these 3 and 4 are called as the enantiomers of each other. But now, if we consider stereoisomer number first to that of the stereoisomer number 3, if we look towards this first and 3 forms, what happens? The chiral center number first, this is it has the two substituents H and OH. If we compare it to this first chiral center for this third stereoisomer, it has the OH and H. So you can say that this first chiral center get inverted. It is a H and OH. On the left hand side, H is attached. On the right hand side, OH is there. But in this case, it get inverted. At the same time, if we look towards this third number chiral center in this first stereoisomer, it has the hydrogen and OH, but in this case it has the H and OH. It is a similar to each other. So we can say that in these two isomeric forms, first and third, what happens? The stereo center first get change, or the arrangement of hydrogens and OH at this second stereo chiral center get changed, but at the third center it remains as it is. So we can say that those stereoisomeric forms in which it does not have the object and mirror image, or they are not the mirror images of each other, then such a type of the stereoisomers are called as the diastereomers. So diastereomers are nothing but those stereoisomers which does not have the mirror image of each other, or those isomers cannot the mirror images of each other. That particular stereoisomers are to be called as the diastereomers. So in these 4 different forms, the stereoisomer number first, stereoisomer number 3 are not the mirror images of each other, and so they are called as the diastereomers of each other. In the same way, if we look towards this isomeric form number first to that of the isomeric form number 4, so what happens? Again, they are not the mirror images of each other, and that's why again this stereoisomer number first and 4 are again called as the diastereomers of each other. While if we consider now the second stereoisomeric forms with that of the third, what happens here? Here also the first stereo center has the similar type of the arrangement, OH, H, in this case also OH and H. But if we look toward the second chiral center, it has the OH and H, but in this case it is a H and OH. So if we look towards the relationship between this form number 2 to that of the form number 3, again they cannot have the mirror image of each other, and that's why you can say that this form number 2 and form number 3 are again called as the diastereomers of each other. At the same time, if we compare this form number 2 to that of the form number 4 also, again they are called as the diastereomers of each other because they are not the mirror images of each other. So as far as these 4 different isomeric forms of a compound is to be considered, it has a pair of enantiomers as well as a pair of diastereomers. So in this case, what happens? Isomeric form number first, isomeric form number second are called as the enantiomers of each other. At the same time, isomeric form number 3 to that of the 4, again they are called as the enantiomers of each other. At the same time, isomeric form number first and third at, as well as isomeric form number first and this fourth are called as the diastereomers, as well as isomeric form number 2, isomeric form number 3 and isomeric form number 2 and isomeric form number 4 again called as the diastereomers. So in a short, we can say that diastereomers are those isomers in which it cannot have the mirror image relationship between the object to that of the second form, then such a type of the isomers are to be called as the diastereomers. So these are the three important concepts, that is the enantiomers, diastereomers, and next is called as the mesocompounds. Now these three important concepts are there which we frequently use in this stereochemistry chapter. So go to the different examples in order to understand these three different type of the concepts. Now if we compare these two words, diastereomers and this enantiomers, so it has some type of the simple differences. The first important difference is that these enantiomers have the similar type of the physical and chemical properties. These enantiomers have similar type of physical and chemical properties, except the behavior of these enantiomers towards the plane polarized light. It has the different type of the behavior towards the plane polarized light, while it has the similar physical and chemical properties. But now, as far as this second diastereomers is to be considered, it has the different physical and chemical properties. So this is the first important difference. The second important difference is that between the pair of enantiomers, what happens? There is a non-superimposable mirror image relationship is there. It has the non-superimposable mirror image of each other. So this is the second important characteristics of this particular enantiomers. But as far as this diastereomers is to be considered, it cannot have the object and mirror image, or it does not have the mirror image, and that's why this is called as the diastereomers. So these are the two important differences between enantiomers to that of the diastereomers, and these are the simple examples of these two particular concepts. And the third important concept, that is a mesocompound. So mesocompounds are nothing but those type of the compounds which have the plane of symmetry and it have the superimposable mirror image, and that's why these compounds are to be called as the optically inactive compounds, even though they have the presence of chiral centers. And the best example is mesotartaric acid. And initially we studied here a simple concept, what in by chiral center or asymmetric carbon atom, how to calculate different type of possible isomeric forms for a given stereoisomers, and this is to be calculated with the help of this simple equation. A is equal to 2 raised to n. In this case, A stands for number of possible stereoisomers and n is equal to number of chiral centers. So in this current lecture, we discuss these important basic concepts which are important for studying this type of the stereochemistry chapter. The remaining points from this chapter we will take in a upcoming lecture. So with this, today I stop here. Thank you so much.